Hello everyone! Welcome to Be the Good. Ako si Pia Ranad, ang community lead ng Rappler. And we have a really special episode today. Nandito tayo sa isang location ng Forest School Philippines kung saan nagkaka-activities ang Forest School at mga bata na nagpa-participate dito sa Forest School, which is the topic of our episode today. And I'd really like to introduce our guest today, Sharon Cortez, who is the founder of Forest School Philippines. Welcome, Sharon.
Hi! Thank you for having me, Pia.
Okay, so itong episode natin is our second episode na nasa labas tayo ng studio. So, talagang pinili namin na lumabas kasi yung ating topic today nga is forest schools and yung joys of learning outdoors, outdoor play, nature play. So, gusto namin parang on-site, ipakita talaga natin yung what we mean by forest school. And siguro yung first question namin would be, actually, before this episode, syempre nag-read up ako a bit about forest schools. And yung nabasa ko, found siya in Denmark in the 1950s and since then nag-spread siya throughout Europe and then throughout the world. So siguro yung pinaka-question ng mga nanonood sa atin ngayon would be, what is a forest school?
Yeah. Tama, magsimula tayo doon, ano? Kasi marami yung parang may misconception about forest school. So unang-una, forest, hindi talaga siya laging nasa forest. Kasi meron kaming mga sessions before na nasa bundok, o kaya nasa creek, o kaya nasa, minsan kahit side street lang. And then the word school is also a misnomer kasi hindi naman siya set up na the teacher teaches the child. Oo. So, siguro to give you a simple definition of what forest school is, for me, it's an approach to learning that takes place outdoors, in nature, where children take charge of their learning through play and taking risks. And as a result of that, they become confident, independent, resilient, and creative.
How did you first hear of forest schools?
That is a personal question.
We're getting personal.
Yeah, this is personal already. So, all my life, I've been helping out with our family business in Ilocos. And then there was a time na parang I felt like I was a square peg on a round hole na parang hindi match. I had a sense of dissatisfaction kasi feeling ko that's not giving me any meaning in life. So, nag-search ako, and when I was doing like my soul-searching journey, I discovered 3 things that I loved, which is outdoors or nature, education, and children. So, when I discovered those 3 things, sabi ko, paano ko ba mapagsasama yung tatlong yon? That's when I saw a Facebook post about the wild or forest kindergartens in Germany. So, nung nakita ko yon, tumibok yung puso ko. Sabi ko, this is what I want. So, that's how it started.
And then, when you decided na, okay tong forest school idea, how did you start to get into it more formally?
So, the first thing I did was to look for a training here in the Philippines. Pero wala akong nahanap. And then I was telling my friends about it, and then they said, merong something similar dyan, which is Waldorf education. So I searched for Waldorf, and I found the training here. So I spent, I think, a year and a half immersing myself in Waldorf. Pero in my heart, I cannot fully embrace it. So sabi ko, gusto ko talagang bumalik doon sa forest school, that thing that gave me spark. Ayun. So, when I found out that there's a training online, then I took that.
Can you describe yung training? Parang how does one become a forest school teacher?
Ayan. So, dahil online yung training ko, so the modules are online, I can study at my own pace. And then, I have to observe children, at least 3 kids. As part of the requirement, I have to submit. And I also have to learn the practical skills.
Like what?
So yung practical skills na yon, kailangan marunong ako mag-start ng fire, and it has to last like 10 minutes na hindi edited. I have to learn how to make a fire. Kailangan matuto akong magtayo ng tarp or ng tent. kailangan marunong ako gumamit ng kutsilyo, ng lagare, and other tools.
So parang survival skills, hardcore survival skills din.
Yes,
In the wild.
survival skills to some, but for forest school, that's an example kasi of the risky portion, na yung risky play na important sa forest school.
Okay, so siguro gusto ko lang parang take a pause and parang set the scene for our viewers din na nandito tayo sa malagubat na environment. We can hear the birds, the insects, feel the wind in our hair. Can you just tell us where we are and ano yung connection ng place na to dun sa forest school?
Yeah, so right now we're at International Institute of Rural Reconstruction here in Silang, border Dasmariñas, Cavite. So it's an international non-government organization, and I have partnered with them to be my location partner. Because aside from the buildings that you see here, yung training facilities nila, they have a forest, they have a trail where I take the kids to.
Okay. So now gusto natin mag-delve deeper into forest schools and ano yung experience that parents or children can expect from it. Can you just walk us through what a forest school session is like?
Okay, so sa forest school session, we only have, parang template. Kasi because forest school is primarily learner-led or child-led, so walang structured activities. So when the child comes to a session, the first thing I do is give them like safety reminders. So pinag-uusapan namin how to keep themselves safe from the animals, from the mga trip hazards, or from, using the stick and so on. And then after that, we explore the forest. So they have free time to explore the forest. And then, so that part, usually it takes 40 minutes, pero may mga times because they stop and then they find, oh, this is a nice caterpillar or a nice millipede or a nice centipede. Then the 40 minutes stretches into an hour, minsan an hour and a half, or minsan yung buong session, nandun na lang kami sa trail. But if we have time, then we set up camp in a clear area. So yan, right behind us. And then we have more exploration. So yung mga kids, I take out mga buckets, mga shovels. So they, continue to dig, or they just do leaf showers. Mga ganon. So just, just immersing themselves in nature, connecting themselves to nature. And then, pwede rin silang mag-snack on demand. Kasi naniniwala kami na pag the first thing that you have to address in a child or in any person is a biological need. So pag gutom, kain. Pag uhaw, inom. Minsan, nagsisnack din kami on the trail. So, ayun. So, that can happen pag nag-set up na kami ng camp, and then yung iba, they climb the trees. And then we just end the session with either reading a book or asking them, parang reflection question. It's as simple as, what did you do in forest school today? So that meron silang maiuuwi na, okay, ito pala yung ginawa ko sa forest school ngayon. And then, they bring that memory with them.
Bakit designed yung forest school in that way? Why are your sessions unstructured? And how does it link to the philosophy behind forest schools?
Yan, oo nga eh. Alam mo, karamihan kasi ng mga questions ng mga parents, minsan they ask, ano activities dyan? And then, when I say, free play. So the reason why it's unstructured is because when we take ourselves out of the equation, it gives a child freedom and choice. So they decide what to play. There is an intrinsic motivation. Sila pipili. Minsan may mga ibang bata na they're comfortable climbing a tree. Pero may mga ibang bata na takot pa. So, when they're motivated, mas tumatatak yung learning sa mga bata. And then when they're given choice or freedom, then mas na-establish yung independence sa kanila. Because they get the feeling na, I can do this myself. Oo. Kasi if it's all, overly, ito ang gagawin natin. Bring out your pencil, let us draw a circle. If it's too structured, then we also take out or remove the chance for their creativity to develop. Yon. So that's the beauty of unstructured play.
Usually, mga ilang kids in a session and how long, give or take, yung mga sessions?
So at least 4 para naman may kalaro.
4 kids in
At
one
least
session.
4, maximum 8. Oo. Kasi, when you're outdoors, parang ang hirap din kasi i-manage if it's really a big group.
Tapos usually, how long yung isang session?
2 hours.
Okay. So, you mentioned, actually, I was reading up about yung forest schools din, and yung isang na-highlight talaga dun sa forest school philosophy was approaches to risk, right? Being outdoors, syempre masusugatan ka, parang maraming factors na hindi mo control, insects, things like that. So, also parang independence and resilience. I'm just curious kung ano yung when parents enroll their children in forest schools, what kind of questions do they ask, or ano yung concerns sila that you typically get about like a risk-based approach, a risk approach to risk, and yung teaching resilience? Ano yung worries usually ng parents when they say they're interested but they have certain concerns?
Oo. Safety concern, yun nga, kung may snake or pag dengue, ganon. But when it comes to snakes, it's part of our safety talk. So I teach the kids how to keep themselves safe when there's a snake. Kasi when you're in the forest, it's a wild, hindi mo talagang pwede sabihin, walang snake. Kasi meron yan. So to keep themselves safe, I just tell the kids, you know what, kids, the snakes are actually afraid of us because we're bigger than them. And when you see them, what do? You freeze like a statue. And then you just let them cross your path. And I tell them not to hit the snake kasi kapag hinihit natin sila, yung snake will feel attacked and then they might bite you back. And then, lalo na pag hindi natin alam kung venomous yung snake or hindi, then that's dangerous. Yon.
Ano yung feedback ng kids or even parents? Like parang when they experience after a session, usually what kind of feedback do you get from people who participate?
So, mayroong mga distinct experiences.
Okay, iba-iba.
So, iba-iba. Pero like the very memorable one, so they know their child na timid. Mahiyain yung anak ko, ganyan. Tapos, magja-join ng forest school. And then, magugulat sila, parang nagbagong anyo yung anak nila. Na parang, wait, akala ko ba mahiyain ka? Akala ko ba timid ka? Then, how come yung sociable ka na, but parang madali ka nang mag-approach ng ibang tao? Or bakit comfortable ka outdoors? So, that one, I don't even have an answer to that kasi I didn't do anything special. But I guess the fact that the kids are outdoors, out in nature, there's something therapeutic about it. Or probably just, having the space and yung concept na I am free. I'm not boxed in a room. I can do anything.
And usually yung mga kids, meron ba silang, like when they talk to you or even the way they interact with you during or after, parang ano na-notice mo sa kanila that maybe is an effect of their session?
Ano lang. So, I guess instead of treating me or seeing me as a teacher, parang peers. I mean, I try kasi to make forest school a safe space for kids. I can, they can joke with me, they can play with me. Kasi when there is a positive feeling na nararamdaman ng mga bata, then they're more, open to learning in that sense. So wala namang natatakot na mga bata sa akin. They feel that they are safe and that they can approach me. Sometimes they ask, how do I do this? I want to make a sword. Ganyan. So magtatanong lang sila. And then I don't give them the answer. I give them time to think. So sasabihin ko, sige, anong pwede natin gawin? Ano sa tingin mo? So I give the problem back to them. In that sense, napapaisip din sila. Oo. So I guess that part, it encourages critical thinking also. Ganon.
Can you give us yung age range ng kids you cater to and kung iba-iba ba yung activities nila based on that range?
Yes, good question. So I noticed that the kids, parang toddler age hanggang mga 6 siguro, they're really more on exploration or stuff that uses their senses. So, pwedeng maghahawak sila ng putik, ng lupa. Parang more on just feeling. Yung mga mas bata, yung iba, meron talaga nagsusubo na, susubo sila ng dahon,
They're
magsusubo sila ng
exploring.
lupa. Oh, they're exploring. They're experiencing nature. They're, trying to look at the bugs na naka-stick sa tree o kaya yung mga centipede or millipede. So because the world is new to them, so yun yung kumbaga ba experiences na appropriate sa mga kids that age. On the other hand, the older kids like 7 to 12 years old, I introduce tools na. So in connection to the theme na risky play. So, I introduced dangerous tools such as knives.
Wow.
So, we also make fire during forest school. So, yun yung mga activities naman or experiences for the kids in the older range.
Ano yung sa palagay mo yung added value ng natural setting or being outdoors to learning?
May theory dyan. Biophilia. Hindi ko maalala kung sino nag-coin ng term na yon, pero mahanap yun sa Google. So, bio meaning like a living thing, right? Philia is love. So, when you combine the two, it says, you love living things. Something like that. So, when you're out in nature, you tend to have an affinity to living things. Even if you're living in a condominium, pero makakita ka ng puno, o kaya makakita ka ng a beautiful cloud formation, you kind of feel, ang ganda. May mga ganong feeling. And then, it's something that, parang walang logical explanation di ba? But when you're out in nature, it just calms you, it inspires you, it energizes you. So, I think being in that setting creates a conducive place for learning para sa mga bata.
Okay. Dito sa Be The Good kasi we have a segment na nagso-social scan yung aming social media team about kung ano yung mga conversations online unfolding about forest schools or even, outdoor experience for children. Tapos yung isang nabasa ni Trisha Kahanap, isa sa aming digital communications team members, was that yung concern na children these days are very immersed in technology and don't have the same childhood that we, for example, na feeling young pero hindi na, had. So parang very different experiences natin. Like, naalala ko when I was a kid, diba? Like, sa aming village, makopa fights with the boys of our village and then running around. Pag uwi mo sa bahay, putik-putik ka, you smell like sweat. Pero wala kang pake kasi you had fun, diba? And you weren't with your parents. Like, the whole day you were just out with your friends, getting into scrapes, falling down. Pero yung children these days, yung isang concern na lumabas dun sa social media scan was yung concern na masyadong babad sa gadget, na hindi na masyadong naka-exercise. So, in what way do you think forest schools fills that gap? And do you feel na may appreciation yung maybe new generation of parents for this kind of activity?
So siguro, I'll answer that with a story. Kasi meron din akong naging student before, early times ng forest school. So the mom enrolled the child. Sabi niya, pero minessage ako the night before. Sabi niya, teach yung anak ko parang parang he really likes gadget. I guess the mom sent that message to warn me na hooked yung anak ko. Parang good luck sa iyo kung matatanggal mo siya away from his gadget. So sabi ko, sige, okay lang. Thank you for letting me know. And then so the following day was the session. Tapos na yung session. During the session, hindi naman siya nagreklamo na I want my gadget. Ganyan. Hindi naman din siya nagsabi na I don't like the outdoors. Nothing like that. But after the end of the session, nag-aaya na yung mom. Halika na, uwi na tayo kasi tapos na eh. Alam mo kung ano sabi ng bata? Ma'am, wait lang. Dito muna tayo. Parang, ang ganda ng nature. So, based on his utterance, diba, parang, even the mom was surprised. Wow, what transformed? Parang anong ginawa mo? Ah, wala. So, a child that's hooked sa gadget, just one session or one time out in nature can have a good effect sa mga bata. So I think, I don't know, it can be just that kid or it can have a different effect on others. But remembering nasabi ko kanina about nature, how it's therapeutic. So what do children get from gadgets? Dopamine, ganyan. Pero ang nature, meron din namang calming effect yan and, it also energizes you. So I think forest school, or kung hindi man forest school, just being out in nature is a good option to lessen the kids' time on the screen.
Yeah, and kaya nga lumabas yung trends like forest bathing, which we talked about earlier, di ba? Yung even grown-ups na nagka-crave ng outdoor, the healing experience of being outdoors. So, I'm also wondering na, since as an educator, right, na using this kind of mode of teaching, are you able to measure yung mga positive outcomes ng forest school experience? Or is it documented anywhere? Like,
At the moment, no. I haven't done any monitoring on my own, but there are a lot of research. Hindi nga lang dito di ba? Western countries. And I remember attending one conference na sinabi ng speaker doon, the research is already there. Nature is good for your child. Hindi nga lang child, kahit adult, di ba? Play is good for your children. But why aren't you doing anything about it? But hindi nyo ina-apply. So, I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of research out there, benefits ng paglalaro at pagiging nasa labas, physical, lumalakas yung mga bata pag tumatakbo sila, social, they get to play with kids, with other kids, yung mga kinukwento ko sa'yo na timid, na shy, tapos biglang nagtatransform, nagbabagong anyo. And even actually yung emotional skills Because when you're in the forest, it's not all, glamorous. Pwede kang makagat ng langgam, pwede kang madapa. And, those experiences, they teach yung children somehow character building and how to regulate their emotions. Pwede kang umiyak, pwede kang sumigaw. And that's the space that we want to create in forest school.
Tsaka dealing with the unexpected.
And
hindi lahat planned.
Yes, the unplanned. And yun nga the more that the children are exposed to it, paglaki nila, praktisado na sila. As compared to yung adult, hindi ako nagagawa para sa'yo. How will they learn? How will the kids learn?
Bakit nga ba hindi pa masyadong widespread yung ganong concept na outdoor play? Like, dun sa school system natin, for example, parang I'm not sure how it's implemented, but definitely hindi siya, parang hindi pa siya ganun ka-mainstream. Why do you think? Ano yung mga gaps?
Ano ba? Sorry parang dapat DepEd ata tinanong mo doon. Because I know forest school is not under DepEd and we don't intend to be under DepEd because gusto namin parang enrichment program lang siya. I don't know, maybe because of the fear of liabilities. Dahil nga primarily forest school is very risky. But then that's the way children learn. So yun lang yung personal opinion ko I think siguro to do away with liabilities or just being judged na bakit hindi mo tinuturo yan? Or parang, bakit mo pinapabayaan yung anak mo? Nga, parang minsan yun yung nakikita kong, feeling ng ibang parents that they are being judged kapag pinapabayaan nila yung anak nila. Na, hindi naman pabaya, but like, sige, okay lang madapa, okay lang matapilok. But, pag iba kasing mindset ng magulang, nakikita nila yung tapilok or dapa as you're not taking care of your child. Tama? So I guess that's one thing.
Right. So parang may cultural dimension na yung assumptions about parenting of what's a good parent, what's a bad parent.
Yes.
Na letting them free is actually parang equal to bad parenting. Parang can you comment more about that? Bakit naging ganun yung ating mindset?
Yun, totoo ka. It's really the culture na siguro even the parents themselves, they feel like the burden na, nakakahiya naman ko sabihin ng ibang tao na napabaya ako, yung mga ganon. I really don't know what happened Kasi yun na nga, di ba? Going back to our own childhood, Oh, naalala ko yung magulang ko, mas masaya nga siya na nasa labas kami, 'di ba? Tapos uuwi ka ng pawisan at amoy araw. But I guess, being protective now. Sorry, I know you're in the media, but I get yung sinasabi nila na sometimes because what families see in media ang nabo-broadcast lang, yung mga nakikidnap, 'di ba? Yung mga nasasagasaan. But there's less focus on the good things that are happening. And which is why I'm thankful for your your show because you're highlighting the good things that are happening. You should do more. There should
You
be more
will.
of you.
Actually, yung isa pang question ko would be, parang it could also be like when I was thinking about this also, kasi I'm a parent rin, and yung feeling lang din na parang onti lang din yung opportunities to bring your kid outside na wala ka ring worries. Na, kasi totoo naman, di ba, parang pag city dweller ka, condo living, yung nasa labas mo, parang very crowded street na ang daming kotse, hindi rin naman well-regulated yung ating transportation, di ba? So, even safety signs, speed limits, hindi masyadong enforced. So, parang one part of me also understands that kind of fear, lalo na for urban families. So, siguro parang how would you, as someone who's done this kind of educational approach, ano yung gusto mong mangyari sana, or what would you suggest para at least more children, even those who live in cities, get to experience like the benefits of outdoor play?
Oo, good point yan. Access talaga. Access to nature. Pangarap ko, dream ko siguro yon to partner with parks or just to have the parks be more kid-friendly. I've had other families, they share with me na yung medyo familiar na sa, taking the kids outdoors and play. They take the kids outside kasama yung magulang. Kasi, even inside streets, yung iba meron talaga nakikitang puno, and depende sa puno, may makikita ka mga prutas na nalalagas. And pag makikita mo sila sa floor, that's one way to spark, naman tayo sa spark education and interest among kids. Pero siguro yon primarily just to make it more accessible. Sana yung kung malls man, magtira naman kayo ng konting puno. Or just everything designed, to be, just to have a bit of nature in it.
Right. Kasi nakita ko yung inequality sa access na pag nasa urban slum ka, 'di ba? Walang park doon. Pero kung nasa private subdivision ka, may manicured lawns, may, 'di ba, may grass, may mga puno, may mga parks na very well maintained. So just the inequality of like access to green space, green open space. Yung next question ko siguro would be, kasi we know na yung forest school, may certification, may whole program siya. It's not always affordable for every family, right? Like, there's really, like you said, very small, yung sessions yung very limited, yung number kailangan very focused yung group. So, anong tips mo for parents who maybe they can't afford a forest school but they want to bring their children outdoors? Ano yung tips mo for families who are introducing their children to an outdoor experience? How do you make it a positive one?
Oh, unang-una, be intentional in taking your kids outside. Kasi hindi naman yan lalabas kung hindi mo sila ilalabas. Diba? I mean, I don't think they will wake up, I want to go outside. Diba? Lalo na kung nasa urban area ka talaga, I don't think that's natural for kids to say. But ikaw bilang magulang, schedule it. Kung nakakapag-schedule ka ng mall time, or kung nakakapag-schedule ka ng movie time, then I'm sure going outside, going somewhere natural should be an easy thing to do. Kung hindi mo man kaya ng once a week, siguro once in 2 weeks or once a month, just to get the children familiar with nature and outdoors. And it doesn't have to be structured or planned. So, you can, yung aspect ng learner-led, as a parent, okay, o let's say, dalhin mo yung anak mo sa park. Kunyari, nasa Quezon City ka, dalhin mo sa wildlife. And just observe your child. Ano kaya yung interested siyang gawin? Diba? Gusto niya kayang humawak ng puno? Or gusto niya kayang magpulot ng termite? Or ng dahon? And then from there, because you know that that's something that they're interested in, then there's a relationship that's being built already between your child and the natural environment. And then just make it a regular thing until, you know, the relationship becomes, oh, you're my friend na, yung puno, friend ko na, gusto ko na sa nature. Because they cannot love or they cannot protect something that they're not familiar with. So it's just, you know, making it a regular part of your life. Oo.
Tsaka putting a positive association to the experience. So, hindi naman sila ma-traumatize kung biglaan na unprepared.
And then, yun, as long as they're having fun, and okay lang din naman na umiyak sila. Oo. But they associate na, oh, I love, you know, when my mom takes me to the parks, then it becomes part of their core memory. Doon naman nagsisimula yun, di ba? Baby steps.
Okay. Last few questions na lang, Sharon, no? Yung concern nga na, parang how do you get your child outdoors when they're very focused on their gadgets? We're not saying that gadgets are bad necessarily. Like, di ba may educational purpose rin naman yung gadgets, yung mga apps na educational. I mean, no judgment on parents who rely on gadgets to also get a break. But, syempre, yung too much naman, gusto rin natin i-avoid yung overuse naman ng gadgets or reliance or addiction to gadgets. So, pero kung may ganyan kang kid, for example, parang ano yung first step to nudge them, to get them away na parang to help them feel na they can leave it behind and do something else? Has it been hard or actually madali lang siyang gawin in your experience?
Based on real life experience. So meron akong pamangkin na parang medyo gadget, ano na rin, addicted sa gadget. So what my sister does, kasi familiar na rin siya with forest school, nagsischedule talaga ng time. Okay, pupunta tayo sa beach. O kaya, pupunta tayo sa farm. Ganon. And then, meron siyang so, pupunta tayo sa labas, pero you leave your phone behind. So, it's an internal rule that she set. And naman, so far, nagko-comply naman yung kids pag ganon. So I guess ikaw, as a parent, you know what will work or probably can also do that. O, lalabas tayo pero iwan ng gadget sa bahay.
May rule.
Oo, yeah. Just so it appears fun.
Right. Okay, useful tip. Maraming salamat, Sharon, for answering our questions and letting us learn more about forest schools. If we think na importante talaga now to wean children and introduce them to outdoor kasi you were citing yung benefits in all aspects of well-being for children and even for adults like us. Like ngayon, like just being out here, I can already feel the benefits. And I'm sure same with our viewers when they experience those. So maraming salamat. Thank you for guesting on our show. Okay, so that was Sharon Cortez, founder of Forest School Philippines. And thank you again for watching another episode of Be the Good. Once again, I'm Pierre Nadal, Community Lead of Rappler. Thank you for watching and see you next time.